Here is everything you need to know about the death of Mica Miller and her pastor husband, John Michael Miller. I'm going to start this off by saying there is a ton going on in this story. Some of it is speculation, some of it is fact. I will just give you everything and you can make your own decision. I will be updating on this as anything comes out, so make sure you hit follow. This is Mica Miller. She was 30 years old and married to this man. This is John Paul Miller. He was the pastor at Solid Rock at Market Common Church, which was in Myrtle Beach in South Carolina. Mica was sadly found about an hour from her family home in Lumber River State Park last weekend on Saturday, April 27th, with a gunshot wound to her head. Mica's husband, Pastor John Paul Miller, ended up going to church the very next day, performing his whole sermon, and then ended up revealing to his whole congregation what had happened to his wife. And he revealed during this time some very personal information, including that he believed, despite investigations still ongoing, that his wife had taken her own life, and also talking about her mental health struggles. Now, because of him making this very public announcement, it has caused a huge uproar in his church, the community, and also with Michael's family. They have now had to come forward sharing what they believe is their side of the story. This post came from Mica's sister, Sierra. There was a lot of talk already going on, so I want to set the record straight. Our sister Mica passed away yesterday. Please do not listen to false stories being shared about her. Mica was a God-fearing, joyful, loving woman who did not deserve the abuse she endured. If you hear anything about this from anyone other than her family, please question it. Reach out to her siblings or parents. Keep our family in your prayers, and if you have any information that needs to be shared, please contact one of us. Please respect us in this time and honor her memory with joy that she is no longer suffering. Mica's father also went on a Facebook group and made this post saying, "My daughter Mica was found Saturday in Lumberton, North Carolina with a fatal gunshot wound. A no contact order and a divorce was filed just days before this tragedy. We are devastated. Prayers appreciated." It turns out Mica had actually filed for divorce this past October, but she did withdraw the request in February. Just a few days after that, it looks like the pastor filed for what is called a support and maintenance, which basically is him seeking financial support. And it looks like Mica had also filed for that. And as you saw from her father's post, it looks like she had refiled for divorce and also filed for a restraining order from her soon-to-be ex-husband. And when you look this up in the court system online, they were granted a temporary date in court to deal with this on June 5th, and they were granted this just the day before Mica's death. Now, a friend of Mica's has come forward and shared that when Mica left John Paul, she ended up hiding out at her friend's home because she was actually scared of him and what he was going to do. The friend claims that Mica told her she was being abused in the relationship and that she had found out that certain funds in the church were being used inappropriately. It's also being said that Pastor John Paul was having an affair with this woman. Now, they are saying that this is his mistress, that he's been seen with her numerous times and seen with her since Mica's passing. They're saying that they have possibly been dating for years. Her husband actually passed away. He was a paraplegic living in a wheelchair for almost 20 years, and he actually drowned in a community pool. People are saying it was suspicious. This is allegedly a statement that was passed into some news outlets from a source who claims this is from the mistress. This statement basically claims that the reason they were seen together was because his wife has passed away, he had no one to eat with, so she agreed to go out and have lunch with him. She also goes on to talk about Mica and the situation and Mica's mental health. She claims that allegedly Mica contacted the police before going to this park, saying she had a gun and she was going to hurt herself. A friend of Mica's also made a post sharing some information as well, saying that she's not going to pretend she knows what went on Saturday, but she does claim to know a lot. Her friend acknowledged that she had mental health issues, and unfortunately, she claims that these health issues were actually being used against her and almost weaponized. She says that Mica was a different person right now. She said that she was trying to break the chains of her marriage, and she was actually making plans for the future. This friend claims that Mica was actually being isolated in her marriage and that she was even being isolated from her friends. She says that she was a part of Mica's church for years, and when she and her family tried to leave the church, they were basically being stalked and attacked because of it. She says Mica wasn't just leaving her husband, she had to leave the church. She said that lots of things had been going on, that she was getting her tires slashed. She says that there were trackers found on her phone. She claims that Mica was going from couch to couch at her friends' homes to try and hide from her husband so that he wouldn't know where she was. She also says that Mica was hospitalized by her husband when it was completely unnecessary. She says that what Mica didn't know was that a large portion of the church completely understood and had actually been waiting for Mica to leave. She also stated that Mica was planning for the future. She had an appointment with her lawyer, that she also had an appointment to get her hair cut. She says she was a woman that was living life. Mica had actually made a video and posted it on her Facebook account asking people to share this with anyone struggling with leaving a dangerous situation because they think God will be mad at them. She goes in to talk about abuse and relates it to her own situation. One of the last posts she made on her Facebook account was this one, saying, when terrible, terrible, terrible things happen to you, y'all know what I'm talking about, RPF, resting peace face. Pastor John Paul Miller actually just did an interview with Christian Post. In the interview, he talks about the fact that he and Mica had actually met and got together in an adulterous relationship. He says that they were both married and they started cheating on their spouses. They ended up getting together, leaving their spouses, and they were married in 2017. He claims that shortly after they were married, that she had some sort of surgery. He doesn't give details as to what that is, but he says that at the time, she ended up being diagnosed with bipolar, schizophrenia, and dependent personality disorder. He says Mica was supposed to be taking lithium for her struggles and that she usually refused to take it and didn't like it. He says that he stood by her through all of this, taking her to the hospital anytime she was having issues. He also claims that he took her to probate court a few weeks ago to get her hospitalized, but that the court said that she wasn't a danger to anyone and they wouldn't allow it to be forced on her. He goes on to say that nobody believed him, that her family wouldn't listen, that he was just being made to look bad for all of this, and claims that he told everyone numerous times that she needed to be hospitalized and something bad was going to happen. So that is basically all we know right now. A lot of it, like I said, is assumptions and speculation. Some of it is fact. The case is still under investigation, and I will definitely be updating as soon as anything else comes out, so make sure you hit follow.